Cool. Right. So, welcome back, friends, to Occultists Anonymous, sponsored by Roll20, hosted on Onyx Path, and brought to you by viewers just like you, and you. Yeah, thank you guys for joining us. This is always a blast to put on, and I will just kind of throw it out there that this is a big highlight at the end of my week after a day job. So, well, I mean, you guys I just have to deal with. I'm talking about those folks sitting at home watching. You guys are just more work. But a special shout out, thank you to our patrons who support us monetarily: Adele, Alan, Michael, Alexander, Angfalith, Bernie, Blood Angel, Brandon, Chris, Daniel, Doc the Doomed, Delore, Emil, George, Jack, Jenny joined the Bright Dream today. All right, man, we got to talk. It's Funzo Suruali. If you guys have heard, he's got a cool little group Discord. Come by our Discord and check out the link. Yeah. John, Josh, Julian, Cat Feathers, Crazy Man 1772, Melissa, Michael, Milo V3, Moku, Neo Megas, Noba, Occultist number 69. Nice. Parker Perry, Pulsar, played by Camo. Puppeteer, Riafio, Ryan, Shaxara, Cinna, Terran, The Arcane, Thomas, Toast, Usuf Sama, Vortex, Woodfoot, and Zoltan. Thank you all very much for your support and ongoing patronage. And yes, in case anybody's wondering, is it the lighting or is it just Chris? No, it's Chris. They went and got their hair did.
Pink.
Is pink and purple. Which, if any of you are in any way surprised who are new to the show,
you don't know me very well.
It is, yes, this is true. It is also the lighting. So, if you missed it, hi, welcome to 1846 Colorado. That's not actually called Colorado yet. And the sleepy mining town of Purgatory Falls, where we have 4 itty-bitty baby mages who are just now getting to know each other and not even. Well, yeah, that's fair. They're just now starting to get an inkling of, wait a second.
Maybe we should get to know each other more.
Right. Some couple little wires are crossing, and if you've seen The Good Place, it's going to feel very familiar. So yes.
Holy forking shirt balls. We're in the bad place.
We are in the bad place. It's called Purgatory Bluff, after all. But today is April 26th. 1846. One of these days I'll get that right.
It's okay.
And it is the opening day of the Enright Bridge. Are we having problems there, Chris?
It's just munching on some dollar bills.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah. As they do.
It's a fun place for you.
Okay. Yes, it is 1846. April 26, 1846. The Enright Bridge has been opened at Purgatory Bluff. And okay, we're gonna pause for kitty break because it's Ziggy, and we have
Cat.
We have to say hello to the Ziggy cat.
He is a baby.
Okay.
Baby mode.
His troublesome cat. And in case you were wondering, folks, this is our home game brought to you live online on Twitch from across the 4 corners of North America. Well, not really corners. We kind of more of an L shape, but whatever.
You've got nobody in the Southwest for real.
It works all right.
We got Southwest.
I'll go up to Oregon and Washington if you want.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I thought you were up there.
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm in California.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have the loop. Anyways, sorry. The Enright Bridge, which this is the big celebration day, but like most things, like it's a small sleepy town. We all saw the bridge getting built. For some folks, they used it that morning to actually come over and celebrate the bridge. But it is, 1846 and you're on the frontier. So any time to do any kind of celebration is worthwhile, especially when big money bags, Warner Enright is footing the bill for most of this.
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord.
It's so cute.
Cat distraction is going to be real today. I just sense it. with that, we pick up in the general store. It doesn't have a name other than the general store because there's only the one, with a Gisela Bauer, probably a little bit on the sweaty side because hot ovens do that when you have no AC.
This Kit Kat's being very bad.
Very bad Kit Kat.
Locked out.
Worst cat.
Banned.
Worst cat.
Criminal child. Banned.
And yeah, so if I remember correctly, you are whipping up a bunch of baked goods for the visitors in town. Mm-hmm. And we had mentioned that before, but I also wanted to expand that question out a little bit. Are you making a bunch of stuff with like part of the celebration and there's some stuff set aside for them? Or is this like oh no, I'm very clearly making a like special going out of my way for them?
Like a gift basket for them. Okay. Like I have the things that are normally, there's a certain amount that she'll sell at the store because the side jobs are kind of what she does.
Sure.
But these are like particular like special ones, like probably like a different like fancier,
more sugar in it.
Yeah, like nicer ones that I've made a special batch that I'm giving to them as like a gift basket, basically.
Heck yeah! All right. So yeah, we pick up with Gisela, probably not the most flattering scenario, just the little bit of heat and just working through some stuff, and especially it's early as Anastasio comes in. I don't know how accurate it is, but in my head, of course, there's a little ding bell.
There's a bell, yeah.
Yeah. And Anastasio comes in. Anastasio is, of course, the boss and the one who owns this place. Tall Mexican man. He's 6'2" and skinny. Black, kind of really short hair. Not to put Ralph on the spot, but actually pretty close to, that kind of very short, close to the head, as opposed to, mine. And comes in, and this guy's always full of energy. Fast forward to modern times, he's a loud, boisterous CEO. Here, of course, he's just a merchant who runs a general store, stepping in, and Gisela, what are you baking? And of course, I'm not going to try and put on the accent, but he's got it. And, you can hear him moving through. And I imagine, any kind of baking equipment stuff is going to be set up in the back because there's no reason it needs to be forward towards any customers or anything like that. But I think
there's probably like a back room that had like, basically this was not quite a converted house, but like it could be.
Right. Yeah.
So like there's the kitchen, which is where.
Yeah, and the big pantry where other stuff is stored as opposed to the stuff that's packaged for sale or anything. But you can definitely hear him rummaging and picking up some other things in the front room. Because, he technically owns all this stuff until he sells it. So, but kind of pokes his head back around and, spots, what I expect is, the finishing touches of a lot of this stuff. And he goes, okay. Well, you don't have to butter me up, but, if this is, and reaches for stuff,
I'm definitely going to give him one.
Okay. I was going to say I imagine the relationship is close enough that it's like if you smacked his hand, it would be in, all in good fun. But yeah, take one. He's like, yes, bumbles with hot thing, finds a towel and says, okay, so who is this for? Is this for the nice young man from London?
For all of them.
Oh. But it's for the nice young man.
Not particularly, no.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the disappointment is obvious. If you missed previous episodes, Anastasio wants everybody to be married and happy. He, of course, is a lifelong bachelor, or at least that's
bachelor.
Right. That's what it seems. At least he's 45. He's rich. He's got money. Well, rich. He's got enough money to be comfortable. And why hasn't he, found somebody to marry? Anyways, Chris is making faces. Anyways,
most people in our chat are going to know the sort of connotations of that phrase.
Sure. So he's, checking in, sees that this is what you've got going on, and is totally on board with it, and, kind of helps you, get some things together. And so, kind of leans in, and I'm not complaining. I want them to come and do more business with our store, but what prompted this? If, obviously not to, woo a man through his stomach.
Sorry, losing my voice. Shit, I had a thought and then I couldn't speak. I would like to make a better business arrangement and also curiosity.
That's fair.
I'm interested in whatever it is that the society does.
Yeah, the Royal Society. And kind of leans in. He's like, "Yes, I was hoping to talk to Mortimer last night, but I got distracted by all sorts of boring things. And then he got rather drunk. So never had that opportunity. But yes, well, in that case, and finishes wrapping stuff up nice and tidy while you're cleaning yourself up, and says so in that case, and hands the basket to you. You will be my spy, and marks you and says go find out, and yes, bring us back some kind of deal, because I'm really wondering. I don't know that they have a big wagon of supplies, so if they're heading farther out, and I think rather than talk it all out, you guys go back and forth and hash out what are they up to? They don't have anything. Oh yes, and a couple little things that he points out of okay, these are things that we could totally let go at a big old discount to look like we're being buddy with them, and just kind of arms you. In business wise with all sorts of deal making stuff, and then he himself you can see is not necessarily set up to have a party, but he's got a couple little things. He's got I guess it would be a bag of apples and some other little things that he's very likely to hand out to kids and sell to adults. Kind of stuff, and basically eventually the two of you kind of lock up and leave out as you guys step out, and it's morning. We'll say 8 a.m. If I remember correctly, that would mean that Theo is still busy with chores or probably finishing up. Ralph is up. Not Ralph. Cloak is up with the miners, and at 8, I would imagine definitely finished up with any kind of greet the sun meditation kind of stuff, and is working with whoever's heading into the mines. I did mean to ask you about that. Are any of them, are you, is Cloak and the sisters coming down, or are you bringing a little entourage to be part of the town? Or is this still one of those, we're still making inroads, so we're just going to have a couple of us down at a time?
It's a big celebration, so I think what they would probably have done is everyone would have worked hard or they would have planned so that they could take some time away from mining that day to all be present.
Okay.
That the bridge is a town celebration, and they've all been there for 2 months. Gotcha. So they should all be seen. So this would probably be the first time since they arrived that all of the Maroons would be traveling in one group.
And actually, now that I think about it, probably would make sense that the miners are probably let off as a holiday as well, because this is Saturday, so they're gonna have a 2-day weekend, guys. So that's
amazing.
Yeah, so you guys are waking up. They're probably going to be in bed until noon and then make their way down. But you guys, it sounds like, are getting up a little bit early. Maybe some are going to lag behind if they were working that later shift or something, but okay, cool.
They get more time. Right. So there's, meditation and sparring in the morning, and then whenever everybody's ready, we'd come down.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's literally going to be everybody comes down together. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And then I think at this time that would also put Isabel up at Enright's manor with, and you were dropping off stuff and guns, if I remember correctly. Okay, cool.
The guns was unmentioned, but yes.
Right. Cool. So yeah, you guys, we have, Gisela and Anastasio stepping out into that morning sun. People are starting to filter through. Nobody's in a big rush. None of this is really gonna hit off until sometime afternoon because, wait for the sun to actually start to set a little bit. Mm-hmm. But with so many people, especially the miners out of town, out of work, other folks are probably still working because that's how it works in holidays and that shit. But there you go. So for instance, the tavern is open, though it's, probably just Madame Robert and, some of the other staff, some of the brewers maybe who are working double time. Or have been, probably. I don't think you would make beer the day of.
Certainly can't make gin in one day.
Right.
Not good one, at least.
Fair. But they are probably moved instead of inside the tavern. Well, actually, yeah, probably having people come into the tavern a little bit. But it's definitely something that has spilled out into the streets a little bit. And so, Madame Robert maybe, standing on the, very typical walkway, and I imagine she's got a fan, and just talking with people, and it is a very high energy social thing compared to Mr. Enright coming out and telling everybody that the bridge is going to be opening tomorrow and this is the Royal Society, which was everyone's what's the big deal? Okay, that's the announcement and done. This has got higher energy. The Sunday best clothes are out. The priest and chaplain, preacher, pastor, depending on which language you're using, are out. And while they will have theological arguments, when it's stuff like this, they come out arm in arm and are, happily doing similar stuff to Anastasio of oh yes, we're going to bribe the kids. And, it's definitely a very positive energy kind of scenario. But Anastasio looks at Gisela and says, okay, good luck. And, big wink. And he heads out to go just cause chaos. Very likely he's probably really going to beeline to his nephews and nieces when they come across the bridge from the farm, because that's when this is really going to hit the fan, because the town is a decent size, but there's quite a few farms that have the big families, because that's how you run a farm in 1846. And when those folks start crossing over the bridge and kind of join up sometime after morning chores are done, then this is going to blow up. There's going to be a lot more activity. And, this town obviously has a couple musicians in the way of Isabel. There's a lot of farmers who have guitars and other various musical stuff, and that's when this steps into okay, this is going to be loud and exciting, and especially for 1846 Colorado. There's a guitar,
actually,
right?
Not to actually, but in a sort of standard human lifespan history, we're a little early for guitars to be sort of everywhere.
Really?
At least modern guitars. There's obviously other things, but the classical Spanish guitar that we would think of is until 1880 or so.
Damn. Okay.
I know. I looked it up because that was going to be my thing.
Oh, sure. Right. Yeah. On a horse with no name. Absolutely. Okay. But yeah, I'm sure
there's other harmonicas yet.
Yeah, I was just saying there's
probably got harmonicas.
There's some various
all sorts of different
woodwind and various other instruments. But dang. Okay.
I just wanted to share that because it made me
absolutely
sad too.
Destroy the magic of this. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Ruined everything.
Well, we're engaged in revisionist history.
Throw out the whole chronicle.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's go play pirates.
That's true. Yeah, and Ruff does bring up a good point. We do have 6 guns, so maybe we do have guitars.
If you want Isabel to play guitar,
yeah.
That's why I said in a sort of standard human
Right.
Actual history.
Banjos are period appropriate. Yeah, but does anyone really want to hear a banjo? Yes. Banjos are actually pretty.
I mean, yes.
I was about to get heated.
Banjos are
Holy
great.
shit. I was about to be so triggered.
No, like salute to Kermit, man. Yeah, no, banjos are pretty awesome.
Shout out Steve Martin.
And yes, lutes are also hundreds of years old. Yep.
Yeah, but I don't think we're playing lutes.
Probably not. But yes, there's all sorts of various other instruments that are...
We're playing Mage the Awakening if we stop talking about musical instruments.
Oh, that's true. Yes. So for now, things are starting to just get chatty amongst most people. And, the whole nobody's working that day as opposed to like yesterday, people were still doing some work. Today, it's like, nope, we're not doing anything. I'm sure the Bauer family is, cruising out represented. Oh man. Eventually, one of these days, I'll actually have those two kids' names actually remembered. Is it Friedrich and...
Dietrich and Lucia.
Yeah.
Friedrich is dad, right?
Friedrich is dad.
Mm-hmm.
And again...
Wait, no.
You could probably just call him Fred. That's probably what everyone in town does.
Okay, right. Dietrich. That's who I was thinking of. Yeah.
I don't know how you Americanize Dietrich.
Dieter?
I
don't know. But yeah. Dieter and Lucia. Antonia. Eventually get these. There's more names already in this chronicle than the entire last chronicle combined. Anyways, it's pretty close. Yeah, the moving, swarm. Well, swarm. It's not that big of a town, but everybody's out and about that central green where Warner Enright had been standing on a literal soapbox to deliver an address. Is kind of where people are sprawled out. A couple people have, kind of picnic baskets that are closed now, obviously. But everybody's kind of expecting to just kind of lounge out. And, it is April. So the weather is starting to warm, and it is Colorado, so it's already on the warm side anyways. This is
really nice, actually.
Yeah. This is good weather. I picked this date for a reason. The get together is just mostly everybody hanging out and chatting. It is not until somewhere around like 10 o'clock. So at which point most everybody is arrived. The miners have come down that are going to show up. There's a bunch who are just like, we don't care. I just want to sleep and probably drink whatever they've got up there in the barracks. I think the Maroons probably would be down at this point, which probably did not cause a ruckus, but there was definite that like, okay, they're coming down, and a little bit of not necessarily tenseness, because at this point, like any really loud tension has kind of abated, but there's definitely like people staring, and looks and stuff like that. But I imagine
that makes sense to me.
Right.
It's probably still uncomfortable for them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, also just the whole existence of them having shown up here would still be super weird.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you.
And I imagine for the Maroons, it's probably weird to be in this, in Colorado. Yeah. So, but it is, a relaxed environment, and, nobody is forced to stand next to anybody they don't want to. So things kind of meld into different cliques, and it's mostly family groups and related family groups. But of course, when the carriage comes down from, Enright Manor, at this point, I imagine Isabel is also probably down before then anyways. But you can see one of the driver and Ike sitting up on top. It is Ike, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, son.
Oh, the shitty son.
Yeah. The shitty son, as opposed to the non-existent good son. There is no good son. That is not a chance. No, there's just the shitty one. But sitting kind of up top, and inside, windows open. Warner Enright the guests from the Royal Society, ride on down. And of course, as they get a little bit closer, Warner Enright on the road, kind of leads down to the bridge, and he's leaned out the window waving like a prom queen, or a homecoming queen, and kind of leads a procession down towards the bridge itself. And, well, actually, no, probably not yet. Probably stops at the green where everybody is and gets out and hellos everybody and kind of does a lot of glad handing and handshaking. And to his credit, the guy's got everybody's names. Sometimes it takes a moment of prompting where he's yes, Dietrich, and is shaking Gisela's father's hand and talking and looking at the kids. And now the kids he probably doesn't quite have memorized, but
he knows whose kids they are.
That's for sure. But yes, things kind of settle in. And as he is glad handing, I imagine is when Gisela is like, yes, let me go talk to,
Just sidle on up. To introduce myself, like, good morning, it's Mortimer, and I've brought you a gift.
Mortimer is, I think he's a little bit off-put at such a informal celebration, because of course he's from the high society in London, right? And is kind of looking around, staring at all the ragamuffin peasantry type of folks, and looks to you, and I imagine he's again Sunday best kind of attire, and
she's got her bonnet on.
Oh yes, yeah, of course. Oh, what's the Firefly line? Whatever.
By my pretty floral bonnet.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, and and looks at, and like in a like little wicker basket, I imagine, or something like that, and kind of takes that and kind of pulls back whatever. I almost said paper, cloth, towel is over it, and looks at this and goes, "Oh,
my mother's family owned a bakery back in Germany, or whatever we called it at that time." I don't know what the actual regional name for or whatever town they were from was.
And actually, I guess that prompts the question: are these like very German baked goods? Okay,
I imagine that's what they're selling here.
Sure,
they were her mom's recipes.
Cool.
And
is that kolaches? Yeah. And so yes,
I haven't had a kolache in like 18 months, and it's fucking killing me.
I'm sorry.
I found a restaurant at Virginia Beach that is just called like Kolache Store or whatever. I'm gonna get them when I go down. Like, it's the name of the place. It's like,
very straightforward. And Mortimer kind of takes the basket and is looking at this and a quick breath, and that way we don't have to go over it a little. What the heck is this? What is this? Oh, okay, this sounds good. And and looks at all of it, picks up one, probably like the smallest of things, and takes a bite and smiles at you. Oh, okay, no, this is actually good. And like then very quickly is offloading the basket to Jules. Now Jules, however, not nearly as gun shy around fresh baked goods, and grabs like 2 or 3. Oh my god, they're still hot, juggling, and like offers the basket to Rilla, who just promptly takes one and very daintily, and then thank you. And then like watches Jules tries to hand the basket back to you.
No, they're yours. Welcome to town, Purgatory Bluff.
Oh, well, thank you. And, Mortimer has already kind of like tuned out this conversation. But Jules, comments and stuff like that. And he kind of turns and says, and then it clicks. He's like, oh, you're the young lady who works at the general store.
Yes, I work for Anastasio.
Okay. Yes. Oh, good. And he's like, okay, maybe I do actually care about who this is. Jules and Rilla, however, are like, you have 2 new best friends. Like Rilla is being very dainty, but it's like, wow, that that pastry just disappeared. Where did that go? And she's already taking a large one this time, right? But kind of looks at you and like you can see the gears turning. He goes, okay, well, thank you very much for the gift. Tell Anastasio we appreciate his generosity, and we look forward to working with you. And like definitely he's trying to figure out, okay, what's this all leading up to? I don't know if you want to throw some dice at this to kind of represent you. Like I don't know how direct Gisela is about this, because that would be more of the like presence kind of vibe. But if you're just kind of be like, oh, I'm subtle and sweet and you should totally come by, it'd be more of a manipulation thing. What do you think?
I don't know that she's actually trying to manipulate them.
Mm-hmm.
I legitimately want to make a nice impression so that I could spend more time around them.
Sure.
Because I am highly curious. It's less about making a business deal. That's what I'm going to tell Anastasio. But mostly I want to know what they're doing.
Sure. Okay. What I think we'll do then, where is this? Because what we'll talk about is actually kind of improve that first impression that you got. And in this case, actually kind of really set it. Because before it was just like, hi, this hand and handshake, and he was talking to Anastasio. Now he's like, okay, hang on. You're more than just like the shop girl. Like you're doing stuff. And it's up to you. Some of the suggested stuff is like wits plus socialize to create a perfect guest list. Manipulation plus persuasion to get a better table. So it's kind of open. However you want to kind of swing this.
And it's not just because I have points in this, but I like wits and persuasion.
Sure.
Like I'm trying to.
In that case, I think it's a very like you are showing that you are smart and like you providing
and,
right.
Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. This is just at a -1. Mortimer isn't really all that keen on having any attachments in town, but he's not like if it's useful, then he won't complain.
Let's see. If I got 1 willpower back from sleeping, right?
Always. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if I spend it, that puts me at +2.
Right.
One success.
Hey.
Oh my god.
Now, which die was it? Okay, this is way back there, but sure.
Way back there.
And so he, and quickly shifts from, okay, we're talking about baked goods to what exactly do you have at that store of yours? And to give you just, the meta knowledge, your impression level has gone up and from just being a good one, which is like every day to work through social engineering, social maneuvering up to once an hour. And all of a sudden he's going like, okay, hang on, maybe there's more in this general store than seeds and manure and shovels, and yes. Like, these are actual, and notably, of course, for his mind, Anastasio's and his store, you have more, but, and kind of nodding through, Jules, has finally passed the basket off to Rilla, and has pulled out a notebook, and is flipping through it as you guys are discussing, and is kind of leaning over and showing it to Mortimer and like ticking off. And, it's a quick, it's very obviously a unofficial shopping list of, hey, do you have this stuff? Do you have this stuff? No. Oh no, but we can get that, kind of thing. And just right here as people are moving about and Rilla's kind of leaning in, you guys have this whole quick data dump of like, what do you have and how useful are you? And very quickly, the conversation ends with Mortimer looking and saying, Gisela, I'm glad you came to, bring us, snacks, treats. But I think this is very good. I wanted to speak to Anastasio last night, but he seemed so busy. I, let him be. And then he got into his cups a little bit, and I didn't want to make a deal with him then. Which both, well, actually, no, Jules and Rilla were gone by then. But anybody else in town knows better. And this is very good. Can I? Actually, yeah, I think he says, can Jules come by the store later today and complete our inventory of supplies?
Of course. If you can give me a list, I can go ahead and begin compiling them for you.
Which is that, above and beyond service that he's like, oh, yes, absolutely. Jules, provide the young lady with the list. And then quickly he's like, okay, I'm done. And like is trying to find Enright again. Or actually perhaps Madame Robert. And, Jules, definitely more on your level, the ages are closer and stuff like that. And quickly pulls out a paper bit of, I almost said pencil, but probably just chalk, or charcoal, excuse me. And, very rough, quick, like need this, and tears it off and hands it to you. And apologies for my penmanship, and you get Rilla like grinning, and it's okay. Even when he tries, his penmanship is terrible. And there's this like, what the, hang on, I'm trying to, but yeah, basically kind of ending the scene with you having that list and offloaded the basket of goodies.
Okay.
Which kind of brings us to what's everybody else up to?
Got everybody talk at once.
You right?
I didn't spend much of the day yesterday around camp, so I'm just going to stick around home for a little bit.
Okay, and so you probably won't even show up until like closer to that noon one, and then it'll be probably all of you coming in?
Yeah, probably. Unless unless Catherine wanted to head off. I was trying to give her some time off this morning.
Oh, sure. But I mean, like, once the big celebration starts up, you all leave your little camp. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So, for you, it's, Theo and Valosia, spending time together, doing chores, doing the kind of classic, like, prompt the child to help with chores in a game, kind of things. And yeah. Okay, cool. Catherine did leave and is somewhere in the festival get together thing. And she did mention that, I'm going to see if I can talk to Mrs. Bauer, while everybody's in high spirits and, enjoying the day.
Right.
Cool. Isabel or Cloak. Is there any specific stuff while people are just milling about? I mean, if you guys are just milling about, it's absolutely okay.
I have some stuff. I'm just giving Chris a shot first.
Yeah, I think Isabel takes her horse and goes essentially for a ride. And like the long way home.
Okay, sure.
Back into town. And she plans on having her horse today.
Sure.
Because there's a bridge and you can ride across the bridge, and I'm sure people are going to, go places and stuff like that. But taking this time to explore and see if she can find any of these little gods that she keeps discovering.
Oh, okay.
In the world.
Sure. Now this is a thing I meant to ask you about before, but just never got to. Has Isabel tried to chat with, because you have spirit too. So turning mage sight on can see and interact with them. Has she tried to actually interact with any of the spirits, or has she given them kind of a wide berth?
I think it's been very much a wide berth. But, because I don't think she's done much like Spirit 2 magic, but came out of the Awakening with it. Did enough in the Awakening that she knows Gnostically. Is that the right term?
Sure.
Yeah.
Seems right.
Knowledge.
Yeah.
Mentally, she could, but she's not.
She understands it. Well, yeah. I like to separate the magic from the intelligence, but like that Gnostic learning. Yeah. Anyways, so what I want to do is put on Exorcist's Eye for a while.
Okay. Little less affecting
intensive.
Also, yeah.
Well, it is different because your magic sight for Spirit just lets you see manifested stuff. This actually lets you see and see slumbering ones and stuff like that.
Because Spirit 2 is the one that basically gives you Exorcist Eye for free, but it is also willpower draining because if you go longer.
Oh, right, the attainment. I forgot to read that.
It's okay.
Spend a point of mana.
But this is not mana because it's just willpower to maintain for longer. Right. Mana is for adding an additional.
No, the attainment requires mana to activate.
Oh, that's just for
the Spirit 2 attainment.
That is literally just for interacting with them, to touch and speak with them and stuff like that.
Sorry, I misunderstood. You were talking about interacting, so.
No, I'm with you, but because I'd forgotten about that part. But yeah.
Okay, so what is the gauntlet strength out here?
Ooh, that's a good question. And I totally have that in my notes here. 1 second. Yeah, this is definitely just strength of 3. But as well within the city limits, basically where folks are living. As soon as you get out, it's definitely a 2.
Okay. All right.
I think actually with Spirit side on, you can kind of see like the.
Can I understand that to a certain degree,
right? And notably the river, especially with the bridge there and stuff like that. The fields and the farmlands and stuff like that are also a 3. This is heavily cultivated and stuff like that. But this river is this big like 2 that cuts between and almost looks like it's not eroding. Yeah, it's eroding the gauntlet. Got that whole river vibe. And while Chris is writing that up, what did Cloak have planned?
So Cloak had a few things planned.
Okay.
So Cloak wants to look for opportunities for Sanite Mesije to interact with other prominent people in town. To build off of what he's been doing before. To make it clear that he's not the sole representative of the group and he's not the only one responsible, and also empower them to feel like it's their responsibility and their opportunity, that they have agency over it. And he also wants to engage Mortimer a bit, have a conversation to see what he can deduce about the experiment.
Cool. Okay. All right. Yantras for instant and duration, I imagine, or reach, not
reach.
Yep. Cool. Duration to make it last for the whole day? No.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it not a duration spell by default?
Oh, right. I forgot I got steps. Yep. Okay. I don't need that penalty then.
Cool.
You need it for potency, though.
No.
No? What about the gauntlet strength?
Because Exorcist.
That's only if you're going over the gauntlet.
Yeah, you spend the reach to see. But
to see past it. Gotcha. Right. Sorry, I misunderstood when you were talking about.
It doesn't have a
engaging the gauntlet. Yeah. No, I just thought that was your plan. Never mind.
I was seeing how hard she wanted to push herself this morning.
Yeah, exactly. Cool.
3, 7. Yeah.
And what does this look like for her?
Well, let's see if I roll the dice better.
That's fair.
First.
That's fair. Yeah, no problem.
There we go.
You didn't take that as you took
no, I took
coaxing spirits.
Coaxing the spirit. Yeah, this is, I think, less full on like mage site and more just kind of a tint, a color tint that she sees with.
Tint.
Like
okay, I'm with you. Sorry.
Yeah, I was thinking like a
Tent.
Yep. Erected.
Right. I tried to. Yeah. My E's and I's are the same.
We don't judge. It's cool.
I was talking about this with my mother last night, actually. Because pen and pen are the same word, and I will fight people about it.
Yeah. If you're raised in the Northeast, then you might pronounce it
no.
differently.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's just anything related to like slumbering spirits or things that are awake, or I think resonant conditions are included to this.
I think this is just spirits.
Manifestation conditions.
Mhm.
What is it? That's like open and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so you would notice if something is actually resonant.
Right.
Yeah, because resonant is one of them.
I can see the flow chart.
Yes.
the Ash having a panic attack flow chart from 2 years ago.
This is terrible. How will I ever do this? And it's really easy because we're mages and we just cheat and we say, you know, you're here on the flow chart
You're
now.
here now.
Yep.
Move this way. So I think it's just bursts of brighter color.
I was going to say, is it like that kind of impossible color, you know, the kind of colors that animals see, you know, that are outside
I think
of
that's probably a good way. It's more natural.
Mm-hmm.
I think is the like not supernatural, but super natural.
Yeah, preternatural, I think is the term. But yeah, I'm with you.
Sure.
Yeah, cool. And your ride is starting up at Enright's Manor, and are you heading in a specific direction, or because I know I haven't put together a map or anything.
Yeah, I don't really have a map in my head, but like I assume there's because we're down by the town's down by the river, and then I assume it moves into some like foothill kind of things. Right.
If you go away from the river,
right,
and
so
Enright is kind of away from the river and up towards the mines.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what direction we're putting all those sort of north south ways, but that's kind of what I had pictured in my head. So yeah, starting off riding a little further up into the mountain and essentially just kind of wasting some time because she doesn't have anything to do this morning, and she's dedicating a little bit of essentially research.
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, for her, it's a lot of spirits of wilderness. I've actually talked about it recently. I can't remember in which Discord, but like there are some high rank spirits that are physically huge. There are others that are, you know, smaller. And I don't think this spell doesn't identify their rank because that's a different spell. That's no spirit. But yeah, you definitely have, especially like in my mind, you kind of crest the hill and look out towards like the ranch part of Enright's territory. And there's, you know, some of these tall, lanky, you know, spirits of grass that are just kind of slow walk Ent-esque. You know, the little sway to them. Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, especially starting up there and moving past the mines, you know, big spirits of rock, a lot of spirits of silver, which, we're not playing with the werewolf splat, but yeah, these things are a little bit odd and, you know, kind of stand out. And I think especially because, that's Lunargent. That's the Acanthus over there. But you know, they do stand out. I think if nothing else, just because of Spirit's connection to Arcadian magic and stuff like that.
Sure.
And from up here, and looking down towards the town, which, you know, is not a far ways and is quite visible, you can definitely see the pops of, you know, joy. I almost said joy spread. But yeah, you know, these spirits that are just drinking in the revelry. There's a couple, you know, spirits of, happiness and community. Well, community is probably not one. But hey, yeah, we're having a good time. There's a couple, right. Lots of just, raw emotion. And, from your angle, the spirits are probably having a good time, and you're probably spawning new spirits because, there's the opportunity for resonance that isn't always hanging around, stuff like that.
A good time here means a feast.
Right. And lots of high emotion. And for me, and like you said,
we're being rated.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, Vorpal Tales. Hi, guys. Thanks for coming by.
Welcome.
What's up? Yeah.
And so as you guys kind of come round, well, you and your horse come round the mine and kind of come down. I feel like that's when you can see the bridge, which obviously does not have. It would have a spirit because it's an object. But it is, this sleeping mote of a spirit. It's not particularly important yet, but very likely will be. And there's definitely the spirit of the Purgatorio, which is not always necessarily here because the Purgatorio is large, but because this is a movie and things happen when we want it to. Yeah, you can see the Purgatory River, which is a small being that, from up here you can see mostly because of that splash of color standing out against the moving, kind of slow water and stuff.
Just a deeper blue.
Right. But yeah, it's just moving. And if you didn't have, if you didn't have the magic spell, you wouldn't see them anyways. But if you didn't have that highlight effectively, it would just blend into the river. And it's just, it has these big vibes of, I imagine just because of her being raised in schooling, she's got some level of education. And so I feel like this is definitely one of those, hey, those Greek stories of like Poseidon and river spirits that, she may have learned. And it's like, oh yeah, no, I get it. Like this thing is totally chill, but I do not want to piss this thing off. And especially, she's been here, the couple months and has heard the stories of the Purgatorio, which I realized we never actually went over because we talked about why are we making a bridge. The Purgatorio is treacherous. People have talked about it. It looks super placid and is a chill river, but there are times when people cross it and it should be absolutely no problem, and just everything goes wrong. The wagon starts to flood, immediately capsizes, pulls the cattle down with it, and it's just like this was a safe crossing. This should have been just fine. And so yeah, people are very iffy about crossing it unless they need to. So yeah, that's one of the big reasons behind the bridge.
Cool. I like that.
Yep.
And that's really just getting some knowledge and some background on what's going on around the town, and
hell yeah,
who to make introductions to. So I think she keeps her eye on like what seems like might be bigger spirits.
And there's
investigate closer.
There's definitely the spirit I remember of Purgatory Bluff itself, which is a fairly small one, but is sitting in the middle of the town and is just
watching over.
Yep. And so we cut over to Cloak. As are you headed for Mortimer first, or are you kind of setting up introductions?
Well, as the Maroons came in and we start milling about, and it looks like people aren't going to be forthcoming, or they're not going to be forward and like trying to make introductions. He's going to try and not force people, but strongly encourage the other Maroons to have conversations with people. It doesn't need to matter who it is. Just talk to somebody.
Right.
Could be a miner, could be Dahoma, could be Maria. It doesn't really matter, right? Just get out there. You need to talk to somebody. It can't be just somebody you know.
Right. Yeah, and considering this is when people are really showing a lot of their... Sorry, I have a sneeze. Okay, they're showing off a lot of their hobbies and, some of the other stuff that they do. Because, Gisela is not the only person to have baked some stuff extra. And so, there's some, couple mothers, who have, fresh bread that they're passing around and sharing, trading stuff. Or, somebody's passing has out wood carvings, which, wood itself is fairly on the scarce side, but there's always scrap stuff to work from. And, I've been thinking about it. I meant to talk to you guys, but I realized pottery probably is actually pretty popular here, especially with the river being probably a good source of clay, and stuff like that. So a lot of different stuff like that. So yeah, you're just kind of prodding the maroons to go find somebody you want to talk with. Kind of vibe.
If you're proud of your nappings, share that with somebody who might care. Show somebody the rope you braided.
His whole satchel of sledgehammers out into the
That's right.
Unleash the sledgehammers.
It's getting bigger.
Yeah.
Oh, it's getting bigger.
I really like that vibe. And yeah, it's it's 1846 in the U.S. Black people are still slaves, and we're out here not technically in the U.S., but it's territory, and
and at the time, the laws in the territory permit slavery,
right? And for some of these folks, similar to Theo, like some of these are these kind of marginalized people. That these are the people who came out west because they didn't fit in out on the East Coast. And so, and like, for instance, let me go pull up his name here. Barber. Nope. What is his name? This is one of the NPCs that we haven't touched on. Mr. Grigori, right? Make sure I've got the right guy. Yeah.
Mr. Grigori?
Mr. Grigori Mitya Medvedev. Yes.
Getting seer vibes.
Huh?
We all just got triggered.
We don't like a Grigori.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. No, trust me. When the random name generator gave me Grigori, I said yes. Welcome to. But yeah, he's a 55-year-old Slovakian Jewish man. Wait, hang on. Is that right? Let me make sure. Yeah, okay. And his daughter is there, and he's got an apprentice who's married to his daughter. But he's a Slovakian Jewish man, and so these are the people that came out this way because we didn't really fit in necessarily other places. So while there's the very obvious, and because humans are dumb, like, oh, you have different skin color than me, there's at least this understanding of, yes, you, similar to me, are like an outcast, and we're putting something together here. I imagine there's a lot of that little, these little break off conversations, and some of them are awesome, and some of them are kind of like, okay, whatever. Shoulder turn kind of stuff. Yeah. But if nothing else, it's the entire population. So you've got, the miners who are down here, plus these families, and all of a sudden the melanin count, has reached not quite a 50-50 balance, but it's much, closer in that direction. And I imagine the Maroons are starting to kind of spread out, and I don't want to assume, but I imagine there's a lot of like, hey, where's everybody else at kind of thing. But Cloak is headed for Mortimer, or is it going to be? Okay, yeah. I was just saying, is it more surreptitious? No, this is Cloak we're talking about.
Nope.
Cool. So you are headed straight for him, and
Gisela's still nearby.
Gisela's, I imagine, is probably. But yeah, actually, let's backtrack. Did Gisela head to the general store to figure out if she's got that stuff, or is that like I can do it later?
No, she's definitely staying around for the whatever the event is.
Sure.
I would want to try to Jules, chat with him some more. Just like, I want to know about the Royal Society.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
And see like what they can tell me about what it is they do.
Sure.
Because she is not educated, but
inquisitive.
Inquisitive, yeah.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Which I actually kind of like. That actually helps. So yeah, Cloak like Mortimer is, for lack of a better term, he has his guard down.
Excellent.
He's surrounded by a bunch of these folks who are, of course, he's the shiny new thing that people are asking questions about and talking to him. And somebody, a couple people are asking him to say things in English because he's got an accent. And, and because he's got that posh accent. I'm not going to inflict that upon any of you, but just you can hear it in your head. And so he's like Jules and Rilla, who usually flank him, or like Warner Enright. Warner Enright is doing the Daddy Warbucks thing where he's just glad handing everybody and passing out well, probably not silver dollars, but passing out stuff and just like, oh yeah, look at me, all my peasants love me. But so I think Mortimer probably like turns away from the last conversation he's trying to escape and just finds a face full of cloak incoming.
Sounds good to me. I'm also okay with just standing right there, and he turns and I'm
right, just waiting.
Yep, exactly.
But yeah, and Mortimer definitely kind of looks up at you because Mortimer's a little on the shorter side.
Cloak does, a head nod and polite greeting and says, Monsieur Bethune.
Mr. Jean-Paul. Can I help you?
Sure, I wanted to talk to you.
And like as conversations are happening around, sure.
Well, I note that coming to this place, would he reference no, he wouldn't say that. So he would say, coming to a place that doesn't seem to have very much virtue. And when I think about it, does not seem like a prudent choice for a man such as you.
In what way? It's a frontier town, but there's no lawlessness here or anything.
That's not what I meant. I meant that you seem inclined to more developed or cultured pursuits. We mine. We're trying to deal with a river that sweeps away lives. And it seems like you have some interest in science or study. If I were you, I would not choose this place. So I wonder, what kind of study are you pursuing? Perhaps, what kind of experiment are you interested in?
Ooh, okay, we're definitely rolling.
If I hear this, I have ears pricked.
Oh yeah, because I imagine like for all that they're separated. Jules and Rilla are not quite on the apron strings, but they're very following Mortimer. Just because they're two people out of this wild frontier town, and they aren't super comfortable. Though hey, we just got snacks from this nice lady, so she's all right. But yeah, give me. Oh boy. Because in short, he's not telling you anything about any experiment. So
we'll see about that.
What are you thinking of rolling here?
Well, Cloak's trying to think about how to get him into a context where he can then pressure the information out of him if necessary. He's not. I think this is how Cloak generally approaches things. He goes up and he asks questions. When people are reluctant to give the answers, he gets suspicious, and then he tries to evaluate whether or not the person that suspicion is dangerous, right? Or sorry, not their suspicion is dangerous. Their reluctance is dangerous. If they're just keeping things close to the chest because they like their secrets, that's one thing. If they're keeping it a secret because they know that somebody might be harmed, then Cloak is just going to force the information out of them, regardless of the consequences.
Right.
So he's also I'm happy to cast a spell to aid him in this, like mental scan or something like that.
That's all up to you. I blank Mortimer. Like, who are we talking about? Because you asked, and now I actually have his stats.
Go right ahead.
So yeah, I mean,
Yes.
conversationally, this is going to basically be a manipulation plus either empathy or intimidation.
Okay.
And then he's going to be resisting.
Not presence, considering I'm asking directly.
I'm basing this off of the interrogation right out of the book.
Okay,
and
gotcha.
I think this is I tend to lean towards presence as a like, I'm telling you something, and whether or not you're going to believe it. Manipulation is the getting something out of somebody.
Okay, gotcha. I guess we thought about it differently.
Presence is like likability can only get you so much,
Right.
Without directly like engaging and
Right. Now,
Yeah, but presence isn't likability. Presence is just force of personality, and manipulation is how skillful you
as an
are.
example, right?
Right. But no, and
oh, I'm sorry, Chris.
If you are wanting to, and we talked about this before because about setting up doors, we never actually came around to that. That would be, the presence thing of being buddy and hi, I'm useful, and setting yourself up, and then them coming forward with it. But yeah, for me, the to quote it out of the book, and this is the main reason I was like, oh, this is exactly it. You try to dig secrets out of a reluctant informant, which if this does not describe the situation, yeah.
I see how you're interpreting it, and I'm okay with going forward that way right now, right? I think if he were manifesting his physical and emotional presence and commanding him to tell him something that's a little different, and that's not what Cloak is doing right now. So it makes sense, Drew.
Cool.
Totally on board. Yeah, exactly. That's right.
But yeah,
only when necessary. So manipulation, intimidation. Is that what you said?
Minus 3.
Minus 3. Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
So we're gonna roll. He's not gonna pull out all the stops because that would make things really bad. But let's see, that's 6, that's 8, minus 3 is 5, and he'll spend a willpower to make it rote, because he has professional training, intimidation.
Now, before you actually roll,
go ahead.
I do want to make sure that we're clear on this. By leaning into intimidation, this is a not necessarily hostile act, but it is very aggressive. So while it may not have immediate I'm just making sure we're on the same page that if you lean into that kind of thing, it has, lasting consequences.
That makes complete sense to me. I'm trying to make it not subtle, but less forceful at first.
Gotcha. The alternate version that they provide is manipulation plus empathy minus resolve. So I don't know if that's a little easier for you or more palatable.
Let's see. What would I want to do then? Sure, I know what. Okay. So it's minus 3. Manipulation. 0, 2, 2 and 3 is 5. 1 minus 1, 4. Be 1 die. It'd be 1 die with the resolve penalty. 1 net die. Yeah, if I invoke this condition. Okay. And spend willpower. So Cloak doesn't have empathy. So let me think about. Let's see. So I don't drag this out too long. Let's see. Mental scan. That's no.
Did you get a bonus by leaning on some of the things you know about him? Like.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know his obsessions.
I do.
Or an obsession, but...
Yeah, aspirations. They do not have obsessions.
Yeah.
Or vice and virtue. That's
you can lean on their vice. You can't lean on their virtue.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So, I mean, I could just force it out of him. If I really wanted to, right, I could just do, what's it called?
Talking about forcing doors?
Just force doors and just take the resolve penalty and immediately get what I want with intimidation. But he doesn't want to do that first. So then in order to avoid not being too aggressive, this is what he'll do. He'll do manipulation, empathy, and see how that goes. Right? Because if I fail, it's okay. Right? Just means it's a failure. And I'm also going to want to cast mental scan if that's possible.
Sure.
Cool. Great. All right. So then let me roll this, and I will resolve this condition. So I got that +2 empathy condition you gave me before.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That I got from an exceptional success. No empathy. That's -1 there. From the manipulation, and then I'll spend a willpower, and then it's -3 dice, right?
Correct.
Cool. So, actually, this is then going to be 2 dice. All right. Let's roll 2. Simple roll with manipulation.
Wait, what's your manipulation?
1.
Oh, okay. Remind everybody that cloak is a sledgehammer, not a scalpel.
That's right. Cloak is, how do we say, not subtle? And 1 net modifier. 0 successes. Cool. Okay, and then I'm gonna cast my spell.
Okay.
All right, so this is an improvised spell.
Wait, hang on. Shouldn't you have?
Go ahead.
You should have, because you used the condition for +2 to empathy.
Mm-hmm.
And then used.
I guess
willpower.
I only rolled 1 die.
Yeah, you should have 1 more die.
Okay, gotcha. I assumed incorrectly based on how it was going to total it up arithmetically on the sheet.
Gotcha.
So. Ooh.
Hey, there you go.
Well, look at that.
Nice.
Success.
So yeah, leaning in and specifically talking about the experiment and the whole conversation about, why are you here and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He basically latches on to your question of like, why are you here and studying stuff here. And while it's not a definite, like, he's going to tell you what the experiment is, but yeah, he lets on, and it's leaning into you prodding about, why come to a backwater, for this kind of stuff. And, he kind of, puffs himself up and, mentions, well, there are some things one cannot simply study in a lab. Some things need, your boots in the dirt, which admittedly, looking down, he actually has some like well-worn boots.
Okay. That's a good thing.
Some things have to be done in the field. And the frontier out here has, what's the term he would use? Rife with, things that we've never seen or heard of back in London.
This motherfucker's 2 decades early for a fucking pith helmet.
Little bit, yeah.
Yeah. It would be good if he had one.
But yeah, so he kind of leans into that, and it's not quite enough, but that's one of those, Hugen, there we go. Cloak gets a clue. Ungan, there we go.
Right.
Jeez. I was reading it in my head instead of thinking about it.
The well-worn boots means he's running around in the dirt.
Yeah, and
so that's the clue you're talking about, right?
Well, that and notably, like, it's something that's specific to the locale as opposed to
cool.
Pouring beakers together, machining something.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool. Reach for instant and
the writer.
Okay, which one was that? You get the
reading through surface thoughts. Yeah. And then I got to increase potency in case his composure is higher than 2.
Gotcha. Which, let me come over here and check. Where's...
Yep. It might be 4. We'll see. I'm going to take a chance and assume it's 3.
Okay. He does have 3 composure.
All right. Lucky me.
Cool. And then the red. Oh, right. Yeah. So you get this surface thoughts, snippets of ideas, words and phrases before he says them, or in this case, discards words. Cool.
That's what I figured you'd interpret it as.
And this is something. Well, actually, let me backtrack. Has Cloak used this spell before?
Yes.
Okay. So
I can tell you how it sounds, how it feels to him.
actually, yeah, go ahead and we'll start there.
Cool. So you've seen how his peripheral mage sight functions based on how I described it to you. So I'll just describe this before we go into, peripheral mage sight. But so for mental scan, he thinks that because, he was trained in Vodou tradition, right? He interprets a person's actions as being through the direction of your Metet, right? The Loa who directs you to find your life's purpose, right? Which is effectively just
your daemon.
The daemon, yeah. So in his mind, he's trying to listen in on the whispers that the daemon is providing in order to coax you and guide your thoughts and guide your actions. And so what he's trying to do for him, when he uses mental scan, he hears those whispers along with like a soundtrack of voodoo drumming and like an asone rattling.
And he's hearing the Metet of his target?
Yes. He's hearing the Metet of the target. And so instead of hearing the person's voice, I imagine it as though like, that melodic harmonic sound. I guess those are different things. He's hearing the person's speech overlaid with the voice of the Metet saying what they're really thinking.
Okay, I gotcha. Cool. And that's what you are used to hearing.
Yes, that's right. Exactly.
He is spending a willpower to increase his composure.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, then,
which, by the way, is a thing
not gonna work
anybody can do.
That's right.
It bumps your willpower by 2. It's one of those things that withstand is one of those very meta things. Nobody knows that they're getting a spell cast on them, but yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
But
I'm going to roll. It's not going to work. So
right. And that's why I was just actually, it may. Now that I realize it, because if you get exceptional success. Yep.
We'll see on 3 dice.
Mm-hmm. I believe we get a string of 10s.
I believe you can do it.
So it's a thing you like reflexively do when you tell a thing is being cast on you?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And we talked about it in the last chronicle.
Oh.
those are 3s.
I get some for 3 3s. Come on. I gave you a tree right there.
But yeah, no, this is something that, I asked in the last chronicle. You feel a spell being cast on you. Do you do anything? And you can spend willpower. Technically, anybody can do that. And they can withstand, and they can, same thing with, no, not the same thing as Clash of Wills, because that's a mage only thing with their spells. And Chris, I think you were muted or just being quiet. But yes, just to, and fair. Yeah. You got 3 3s. All right. I'll give you this. The spell goes off. But you basically hit this wall of, it hasn't really been invented yet, but static, that overlays Mortimer's words. And I think for Cloak, it's definitely one of those, well, that's not how this works, kind of things. As opposed to like in some cases when a spell goes off and you didn't meet their composure and it just doesn't get through. There's this added layer here.
Okay. Cool.
That seems to, So, but yeah, he goes on and talks about, some, things have to be done out of the lab and stuff like that. And then very quickly before we take a break, over with Ash and Gisela. No, Gisela and Jules. You're basically asking about, and mostly I'm asking this so I can mull it over on the break. But what were you asking Jules about?
Just more information on the Royal Society, what it is they do, and also, what are you doing?
What are you doing here in Purgatory Bluff?
Yeah, you've come out here, so why are we interesting?
All right, so Jules is pretty straightforward on what the Royal Society is, and he's very much he's a cheerleader, and quickly becomes obvious that he's not actually a member of the Royal Society, but it is a collection of the most prestigious minds in all the world. It's, of course, centered in London. And, of course, most members of the Royal Society are English, obviously. But, there are many, French and, I think you probably, foreign scientists who are part of the Royal Society. Benjamin Franklin was made an honorary member of the Royal Society, and we, of course, all love Benjamin Franklin. Steampunk Grandpa, we miss you. As for what he's actually doing here, he kind of clams up similar to Mortimer, but in a different fashion, in the fact that I'm here to help Mr. Bethune in his endeavors, whatever they may be.
He doesn't know.
But yeah, the way he's playing it, it's like it could go either way. But especially he's an apprentice. He's I almost said understudy. He's an undergraduate. So yeah, he's just here to hold the light, and or at least that's what you get from it initially. Of course, if you want to do any prodding, similar to Cloak, it'll be manipulation plus empathy or intimidation. Turns out Gisela has 5 in intimidation. She doesn't.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, no, I would be rolling a chance die.
Not even a solid 1.
Oh, wait, no, it would be a 1, because it would be at a -1, because I have no points in empathy. Yeah, I'll try it.
Sure.
Manipulation, empathy.
Mm-hmm.
So just try to see if I can get anything out.
Yeah, well, bear in mind, of course, similar to Mortimer, there is resolve that will factor into it too. So, yeah, if you want to throw the chance die at it, absolutely. It gives an opportunity for dramatic failures or a flat out dramatic failure, or you could always get a success.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Sure.
How do I just click chance die?
I just roll a
D10 button for that.
Oh, there you go.
There's a button for chance. I wonder if it's still gonna roll these stats. We'll see.
No. Cool. 0 successes, but it was a 9, so
close.
Yeah, so close.
So close.
But yeah, he claims up.
Want a dramatic fail?
Yeah, unless you want a dramatic fail.
No, I don't want to bomb all the work I've done here.
That's fair. And yeah, so he's fairly quiet about things, and definitely is giving you based on what you've said. Oh yeah, he doesn't know. But yeah, you can definitely tell, especially from his actions, that he's an assistant, and he's helping Mortimer, and he's at least close enough to have the inventory and stuff like that, as opposed to Rilla. Actually, I guess from your perspective, you have no idea what she does either, because she's just
probably noticed that she has the books, right?
Jules is carrying the books most of the time. It was Isabel and Theo who could see that Rilla at the bar had a bunch of the books and was writing stuff.
Okay.
And Cloak, I think, figured out that she was transcribing notes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At least, of course, that's what they say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that conversation with her and use no nature as well.
Cool. But yeah, anything further, or do you guys kind of just blend into society and conversation? And it sounds, and especially knowing Gisela's plans, probably sticking pretty close to the two of them. You don't need to chit chat with other folks.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty focused on this little trio of strangers and trying to figure out what's up.
Especially, you had that little serendipity thing that said, yeah, cool.
I need to be with them to find out something.
Sure. Which I think for as we're getting in closer to everything happening, this is when Theo and Valosia are heading in. Which actually does remind me.
Cloak does his magic.
Right. There's the wave of peripheral, mage sight tingling on you guys, because as I mentioned in chat, this is a movie and I'm directing it, and I say, oh yes, by happenstance, the time, it's like everybody gets that same, peripheral mage site ping as, mental scan goes off but reveals nothing.
I was going to say, Isabel sort of rides into town playing her flute.
Oh, hell yes.
Has this sort of like, almost like Pied Piper thing, as there's definitely like kids following her around to get her to tell
because I mean, if
stuff.
nothing else, there's the horse, and then there's the nice lady Isabel with heck yeah. And we pick up, I think actually after the little conversation with Jules and a little bit time passes, that Catherine Moody? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Meets up with, Mrs. Bauer, and, has a chat with her, which, because that's between NPCs, you guys don't get to know, but, there's a conversation that's had there, and doesn't obviously devolve into some kind of shouting match because you guys would be able to spot that. But, and then, noon kind of, not noon kind of passes. It's like, okay, sun is overhead, shadows have gotten small, and Warner, kind of gets a little bit louder and says, all right, let's go. We're all, let us all move down to the bridge. And I'm trying to be better about not everybody sounding the same. And
Drew. There was one last thing that Cloak wanted to say to Mortimer after the spell didn't go off. He was just going to try and get some information from him. And once he determined whether he could or could not, then he wanted to say something nice on Rilla's behalf and then move away into the crowd.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So we don't have to engage that directly.
Just a mentioning,
to let you know.
A little positive thing. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah. So yeah, down at the bridge, Warner has some of his I guess basically his ranch hands, which, if this were like a traditional movie Western and he's the evil land baron, these would be the guys in the black hats that are, got a bunch of guns on. These are the guys who work for him, only him. They live up at barracks similar to the miners' barracks, but it's a little bit more spacious and actually has like small rooms in it instead of a bunch of bunks. But these are his guys. If we actually have cowboys in this, these are actually them. And they're not, they're not charming, men of the road. Now, these guys are rough. They're gruff. They're probably on the dirtier side, though today they're probably cleaned up because Warner is putting on a show. And so, made them go dunk themselves in the river or something like that. I'm sure he's actually got a well, but they're down there and they've erected just a very rudimentary, but not shoddy, at least looking little arch with the Enright Bridge, and it's got some poles, and it's looking at it's like, okay, this thing will last maybe a year or two before like it just gets worn down and falls over, but it's not shoddy like cardboard.
Cardboard
doesn't
not
exist,
the bridge, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Like the nameplate.
The nameplate over. Yeah, and there is this long red banner of kind of cloth or something, or actually probably just a dyed rope. Now that I think about it. And he doesn't have, big comically large, scissors. No, he's got like sheep shears or something like that. Well, actually, probably not. More
big
like
knife.
Yeah, big knife. It's like, wait, those probably wouldn't be much better, anyways.
A ceremonial saber.
Right.
Sorry, Ash. You were saying something.
We probably have a ribbon. It could be a ribbon.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking what would be the least wasteful, but yeah, that's true. It's Warner Enright. He's got enough money that he can be a little wasteful on this, and yeah,
the general store can get you ribbons.
That's true. And
there we go.
Everybody crowds around, and he gives a big speech, which I'm not going to go into because at the end of the day, it's boring. But primarily, touching on notes of solidarity with the farmers of Purgatory Bluff, which is the first time he's actually said it that way. Previously, they've been our friends across the river or the farmers or anything, but now it's the farmers of Purgatory Bluff. And there's a mental calculus for most everybody of, did the town limits just kind of stretch out across the river a little bit here? But at the moment, who cares about that? And the farmers all know they all have deeds to their land. So, it's not a threat to them, but it's like, okay, we're being brought into the town. Oh, okay, this is kind of nice. All right. Yeah. The town's getting bigger. And, for Anastasio and his brothers, they're like, oh yes, we're in here, and there's other, family who, other families that live over there that have family over here. Some of the miners probably, have siblings or parents and stuff like that who are miners, or excuse me, that are farmers. Of course, there's the big cutting of the ribbon and, and now it's open kind of thing, and, applause and stuff like that. And things kind of die down, and like everyone's kind of looking at Warner, and you can see Warner is looking. It's like he's forgotten something. And Madame Robert. Oh yes. Now we have and basically sending everybody right back up the fucking hill. And it's a short walk, and everybody's used to walking anyways. But meanwhile, I think probably Isabel is probably leading folks across the bridge, and it's just like, okay, now this is when things are going to really kick off, and there are people on the other side of the bridge that are visible, and Isabel can go find and kind of lead back across the bridge. It might be something that was actually arranged ahead of time. Sure. And now we could and I think Warner Enright says something. Now let the festivities begin, and Madame Robert starts giving orders about bring out barrels and mugs and stuff like that. And okay, it's day drinking at 2 p.m., but why not? Because the sun's going to set at 7 anyways, and but things start to hit a more lively kind of attitude. But notably for our 4 mages who care about other things, Jules and Mortimer and Rilla are getting stuff together, and they draw away from the festivities, and it's very obvious that it's like, nobody's paying attention to us anymore. Though of course you 4 might, and are getting up on horses that were brought down at some point. Actually, I guess because Gisela is probably staying pretty close, you get the goodbye.
Bye.
Right. From Jules and Rilla. We need to go do some. I think Jules would probably give you as much as we need to do some preliminary surveys of and then kind of looks over at Rilla and goes, of things. And I think Rilla tries to hand you back the empty basket now. And
I'll take it when it's empty.
Yeah. And I'm sure they've also probably not eaten them all themselves. They've offloaded them to making new friends in town kind of thing. But so they definitely seem to be off on their own now, or trying to be.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Why are they being so cagey?
I mean, they're not necessarily being cagey. They're not sneaking away so much as people are paying less attention to us. Okay, we can go do this work now. But it is a question.
Cloak thinks they're up to something.
Everybody should think they're up to something.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide how I want to cast this spell.
Okay.
It's Oaths Fulfilled.
Oh.
It's very good. It lets me know when they do something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to decide which
way to do it.
Reach to know where they are.
Mm-hmm. A reach to know where they are. A reach to let you see them when it happens.
Yeah, that's good.
A reach to let you see something if it is a mage site. But I don't have that much reach, so.
Oh, not that much free reach.
I mean, yeah. Come on now.
You have 8.
Paradox.
You have 8 wisdom for dealing with paradox.
We're not going to go back to this fucking bad scared paradox thing, are we?
Chris went over
Holy
this so
shit.
much. In no way. Or in the rookery. He was like, come on, y'all.
It's not that scary. I had to do that with the one-shot folks the other day. I was like, oh no, somebody overreached. They overreached by one.
The book makes it sound so scary, like in the fiction, right?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And it is, but only like if you're doing it all the time.
If you have 5 paradoxes in a scene.
If you got 3 different paradox conditions already on you,
yeah.
Then maybe dial it back.
Yeah, it's not a death spiral unless you hammer into it.
Oh yeah, I guess we do need to keep in mind that 8 wisdom for if we do.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, trivial
passing
stuff.
things. Yeah, which so far, like, Cloak has bordered on that in a couple spots. But I was like, there's technically no way you would know somebody's nature.
Right.
Or in the case of coaxing the spirits, it's like, oh no, that was putting on a performance beyond what you could do normally. Okay. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of... I mean, in my head, it's like when they're at... I assume they're going to the hill. Just trying to think of what I want the events to be that will trigger it to let me know when they've done it.
Okay. And you can get a little bit fluffy in terms of the terms and vague, so long as it's not, overly vague. But of course, you will get a brief vision. So, of course, if you're too vague, it's like, oh, yeah, if they get to the experiment site. Okay, they're at...
Yeah, that's not what I want. I want to see when they're doing something there.
Advanced their goals, maybe? Something like
or have, like, when they do the preparations he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
How about when they've achieved the penultimate step?
That could be far in the future.
Right.
Yeah, I want to know, like, what they're going to do right now.
All right.
I'm only going to go for the 2 reaches for the vision and the mage sight.
Okay, don't care about tracking them because you have.
I'm pretty sure I know where they're going. So if I do an instant with those 2 reach, and I'm only casting it on Jules.
Okay.
It's a duration spell, so it gets 2 steps in duration.
Right, which is only a couple turns, so you have advanced duration, so it'll last for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, easily you pull a cloak and just kind of touch them on the shoulder.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do. Like while I'm like sending them off, to sort of touch him in some way.
Yeah, so just 4 reach.
So I need 4. I have 2. It doesn't have a withstand, does it?
Mm-mm.
Nope.
Now, a lot of the 1-dot stuff, just because it's observational, it's hard to withstand. If it even comes up.
Yeah, I don't think I have any yantras for this.
The easiest ones,
because I'm not like pulling out a tool or anything.
Right. Yeah, you might just have to do it with just Fate and Gnosis.
I'll use willpower. I only have 2 more.
And a reminder, Vice is there. Yep.
Pessimistic, just go get really spend the evening moping.
More depressed than pessimistic, but yeah.
Okay, so that is a dice pool of 6.
Mm-hmm.
With a 2 overreach.
Mm-hmm.
I can spend mana though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll spend 2 because I'm not spending it for anything else right now.
Okay. So that gives me 1 chance die. Yay! You get a willpower back.
Successes.
Yay.
0.
Oh no!
Aw.
Oh well.
Disappointing.
Damn it.
Dramatic failure.
Listen, Chris, just because you want all the XP.
Dramatic failure.
Gotta get them XPs.
Hey, I also want that juicy drama.
That's true.
Yeah, come on now.
I mean, yeah, because
forward.
that's not like I'm going to get something out of this, right?
Yeah,
I can't get a positive thing. I can't get a thing.
Right, it's up to you.
Yeah, sure, I'll take a dramatic failure.
All right. Zoop. So yes, the spell does not happen the way you wanted it to. And notably, you gain a condition based on the intended outcome of the spell. Oh boy.
Spying.
Yeah, and O's fulfilled. Let me reread that fluff to that. Whether or not they fulfill argument, terms of agreement, when a certain fate befalls them. I feel like this might be something where you have to. I might actually. Well, yeah, I'll player agency and stuff. In my head, I think rather than spying on them and knowing what they're up to, are you up to having Gisela kind of blurt out that she's trying to spy on them, or we can couch it however, but like this sudden moment as they're going away and just kind of total social gaffe, like letting on that you are trying to figure out what they're up to. Otherwise we can give a kind of different condition and stuff like that.
I could definitely do just sort of blurt out sort of like what's on the hill.
Sure.
Mention that I've been there and I didn't see anything.
Okay, I like that. Yes, yeah. That's very good. That's very good. Yeah, go ahead. We can mark that off for our little tracker. If anybody's wondering at home, what do we do for XP? We do that off screen because it's boring. Yes. So yeah, you like as they're like leaving and stuff like that and walking away, and you've like patted Jules on the shoulder and then like, what's up on the hill? I didn't see anything when I was up there. I've kind of comment, and Jules kind of turns and looks over at you, and Rilla turns and they're like look back towards the horses where Mortimer is getting ready. It's a lot of him touching horses and not like actually getting his hands dirty. But kind of looks and says, well, Jules, I think, says, what do you mean you were on the hill?
The one Mortimer is interested in?
You went up to the hill?
Yeah.
Nope. Now why would
There's not a lot happens here. If there's something interesting out there, I wanted to know what it is.
Okay, we're going to roll to see basically how they take this. So go ahead and roll this as, I think, a socialize, probably presence plus socialize. And
real bad at those.
Sorry. If you want to give me something else, maybe expression, but basically this is the... this is the weird, creepy stalker, or also like a bit of a, not necessarily science nerd, but a fellow inquisitive, kind of like they're trying to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm basically laying it out that I'm less into them.
Mm-hmm. And you want to know what they're up to.
Yeah, I want to know what has interested you.
Well, I guess, if you lean into the kind of like I said, nerdy side of things, we could do that with like intellect and socialize or expression. And just kind of, I know they're not your strong suits, but...
Yeah, social skills are not my thing. Got lots of points in investigation.
Oh, actually, if you want to do it that way, to lean on your informed condition, not necessarily spending it, but like you know that place, I'm okay with that. And basically, I guess this would be, let's do presence plus investigation as you kind of data dump and go, no, like I was up there and there's like this stuff and there's no, and they're all your uneducated observations, but like I've been up there kind of. Yeah. Let's do that.
Okay. I have 2 willpower. I will spend 1.
2 successes. Cool. So yeah, they both go from 1 presence. Okay.
Social skills are not my thing.
Right. But no, they go from like, what are you doing, to like intrigued, and it's definitely a like, oh, look at her trying to like be a scientist, but it's not, especially coming from like Rilla and Jules, who are the Jules especially, who's trying to be the scientist. It's like, oh, okay, and like tilts and I think Jules, like, they're both disarmed from the like, whoa, this is creepy and invasive, to, oh, okay, we see what you're doing. You're a nerd like Seth. But yeah, Jules is like, no, it's not the hill that matters. It's where the hill is.
Okay.
Yeah. No, we're setting up, and kind of looks over at Rilla, and Rilla kind of gives him a shrug and goes, we're setting up telescopes.
To look at the stars?
That's usually what you use telescopes for. Yeah, the stars and the planets. I know.
Well, no, it's wherever you're looking at something up there or something out on the horizon.
Oh, yeah. I think, yeah, considering the cluing in earlier, yeah, I'll go so far as to say, Jules makes an offer like, no point in you coming up now because we're just going to get things set up. But yeah, when we start making some measurements and recordings, you are welcome to join us.
I would love that.
Okay, yeah. And then kind of points at the paper that's probably been folded up put in a dress that has pockets, because back in 1846, dresses actually had pockets.
You had under
pockets, yeah. And says,
but yeah, I will get your supplies.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, that sounds fabulous. We will. We'll speak later. And they finally, like, they've been trying to get over to the horses, but it's like, oh, hang on, we have to address this. Get to the horses. There's some talk with Mortimer. You definitely see Mortimer kind of look over at you as they kind of ride up towards, and they definitely, like, the horses definitely have some like saddlebags that have stuff on them, not necessarily like traveling supplies, but probably, especially considering what he's just said, probably telescopic gear, stuff like that. Yes. So we cut over to, not cut over to, but as you're kind of finishing your conversation, we cut to your mother, Antonia, coming over and, stepping aside you and kind of looking as the three of them ride off, and said, those three are very interesting. So, how do you know Theodosia? Like, are you two friends?
No, I mean, I know her. She works at the tavern.
She
lives, and I'll say, like, wherever camp is. Like, I know you.
Right.
We're not like friends.
Mm-hmm. Well, her friend Catherine came and talked to me, and Theodosia came asking for you yesterday, and you weren't feeling well, so I told her that you were unavailable. White lie, but it's there. And now Catherine has asked that you come join Catherine and Theodosia for tea. Craig, I'm going to throw it this evening. Okay. I didn't realize that you all were sociable.
I mean, we haven't been, but I'm not opposed to it.
Okay.
I'll go meet them.
Okay. Yeah. So
I'm curious to know why she's asking for me.
Okay. Well, yeah, I am too. And she's mom voice. She's an interesting young lady.
Of course.
And if you want to chat with her more, but passing on that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fine. And again, right. And it's one of those, Gisela is her own woman and she can do what she wants. So yeah, pass on this message from Catherine, from Theo. So we shift gears over to anybody, Bueller.
What's Theo up to?
That's true.
I was going to take another poke at.
Go poke the sledge. Oh, we have the spell ready. What are we casting?
Soul marks.
Soul marks.
Yeah. Okay. So the reach is for
instant cast and
sensory.
range.
Okay. Cool. And what yantra are you using?
I'm going to be using a little small mirror, like I'm sort of touching up my hair, but using that to look back.
Okay, cool.
So I think that's 3 dice. I'm doing that. My brain is not firing, so if anyone
yes,
wants to check that out.
3 dice.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, 3 dice.
Oh, I did that already.
Did you try to open the template again? Hey, there's that success.
1 success. What was your total potency?
4 potency.
Does not go through.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
She'll just log that away.
The spell goes off, though, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So again, and like all of you, I think, are starting to get to that point. Would somebody stop that? Because ever since yesterday,
I'm just like, well, they're gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've ridden off a little bit, and here's this death thing
again.
And this is the first time that someone has cast a spell that Cloak has been able to perceive.
Is this the first time your peripheral mage sight has gone off? Yeah.
Yes, because he wasn't present when everyone else was casting spells, and the soul marks didn't go off the last time. So,
yeah, that's fair. Yeah, which remind everybody at home, what is your peripheral mage sight?
So Cloak's peripheral mage sight is a combination of things, which is what I thought about. Hey, how to replicate the experience he had when he was locked in the room, and going through pandemonium and stuff like that, and wrap them in his experiences with Vaudou. So his peripheral mage sight is like a progression of sensation. So the first thing he feels is a gradual tightening of chains around his body. And then he hears them clink and grind against each other. And he hears an increasing percussive beat in the background, as though he is being grasped and pinioned within the perception of magic.
Don't like it.
Cool. So yeah, like for him, it's always he feels defensive when he notices magic because of that, right? Like the combination of sensations and then it feeling like something is trying to grasp him and prevent him from doing things.
Absolutely. So actually, to kind of set the scene here, Theodosia is casting with sentry range, so she could be anywhere basically in the majority of town. What kind of layout are you thinking there?
Like out of sight if she's going to be doing this kind of stuff.
Makes sense to me.
To not draw attention to herself.
And then I also experience your immediate nimbus, right?
If you have mage sight up.
Right.
Oh, that's right. In a signature? Oh, I would experience. Maybe not. Okay.
Just you would see the signature nimbus if you open your mage sight, but yeah,
Go ahead, Chris.
Because the spell doesn't function.
It would still be there. It would just have no effect.
Okay.
Right.
All right. I could see like being kind of a table up to the table sort of thing. Of like,
oh, gotcha. That makes sense.
If it doesn't actually go through, it doesn't leave a mark. But I like
actually, that's true because the withstand reduces it down to a potency of 0. So the spell went off, but it had no effect on the subject, so it leaves no nimbus on the subject.
I see.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
That's a cool idea. I like that.
Yeah, if you had done multiple targets, it would be individual.
Yeah. So the only thing I experience is that something was cast.
Yep. Yeah, and poor Gisela goes deaf again.
Yeah, so Cloak is looking around now, feeling wary.
Sure. Just for the heck of it, give me a presence plus... No, not presence. Resolve plus composure.
All right. This is his favorite thing to roll because of meditative mind. All right.
Now, does that apply for perceiving things and noticing things?
Oh, you mean a perception roll. So wits plus composure.
Wits plus composure. That's the one.
Oh,
Thank
okay,
you.
cool. All right, never mind. I was about to roll 11 dice.
Jesus.
Meditative mind plus meditating gives you very, very good composure plus resolve. Yep.
Yeah, you don't get to roll those that often, right? Mm-hmm. But it's really cool when you get to.
Mages.
I mean, when you're meditating. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so other people for breaking points. But when you're meditating into the astral realms, it's quite useful. All right. Okay. No bonus. Yeah.
2 successes. All right.
Nice.
Theo, how sneaky are you being? Is this just you're stepped away, or you are like actually trying to be sneaky?
I'm actually trying to not be seen.
All right.
But I would have line of sight to.
Right. Yeah. That's the whole reason that Cloak could even make a roll. So in that case, I need this so this will be a opposed roll with some form of the stealth. And subterfuge.
Like Theo's probably got a bonus here, maybe.
That is one thing I'm looking at here real quick. So yes, subterfuge if you're kind of trying to like blend in, stealth if you're like physically hiding in out of the way.
I'm just trying to be inconspicuous. I don't want to look like I'm like lurking in the shadows, right?
Yeah, so definitely more subterfuge.
Lurking.
So. How's composure subterfuge? Does that work?
That's what you use to conceal intentions. Your emotions. So
and I think in this case you're basically trying to conceal the stare down and the attention.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Composure plus subterfuge. I like it. And
it's a combo I like a lot too.
So considering the crowd and the number of people who are probably looking at Cloak, askance. I think this is going to be +2. I think that seems fair. Going to be something hard for. Okay. So I'm going to leave this up to you guys to resolve. We can roll off, or if one of you wants to yield to the other, I'm cool with it.
What would you like?
I think Theo will yield.
So Cloak is feels this tingle and is like, what is that? And there's people looking at you but locking eyes with.
And the moment you lock eye, you see that she looks immediately away, like
catch her. Yeah,
she was looking at you.
Is she around anyone else? Is Catherine there, or is it just her?
She's often off to the side. She's not out of the crowd necessarily, but she's definitely orbiting it. But no one else is near her at the time.
All right, then Cloak will walk directly to her.
Comes the sledgehammer.
And he will bow politely and say, "Good afternoon," or we say, "Bonjour, madame."
Bonjour, and give a bit of a curtsy.
I can't help but... Or no, he would be straight out. I felt a sensation. You know what kind. And then I saw your eyes. Are you responsible?
Like, if just a slight little tweak, and that's super flirty, right? Everybody else is speaking that too? Okay.
Felt a sensation, then I saw your eyes.
I've got the Teen Titans song stuck in my head now.
I don't exactly know how to answer that, but I've been feeling odd things for a while around here.
So he's going to say something, and it might sound like there's meta-knowledge, but this is how he thinks of stuff, right? I've said this to people before. If you want to see my soul, you have to be prepared for what you get to see.
Is that an offer?
It is. I know your mind, and I am inclined to reciprocate.
Again, super flirty, but not.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how many gossipy women have overheard this?
Yeah, no, I imagine, especially like once they started to have that talk, that there's this definite draw away and low, intense whispers. Like people are probably noticing them talking, but hearing the conversation, I don't think so.
No, okay.
It also
but
would have
it
gone
is
Spanish at
definitely
her
noticed.
preference.
You will allow me to confirm a theory?
I will.
I'm going to do it again.
Without the resist.
Yeah, that's true. Probably. But yeah, Craig, I am A-okay considering the situation has changed. If you just want to go ahead and roll the 3 dice again. Actually, let's
Wouldn't have to be 3.
I won't need for potency.
No withstand.
So
So you could roll 7.
Well,
If you want to spend willpower.
Right, I was going to say 7 with
I'll
the
roll
willpower.
4 without the without the willpower.
There
Ooh,
you go.
yeah.
Nice.
Way to go.
So you've got 2 questions.
Right.
So I'll give you the gimme, which is, yes, Cloak is awakened. But what's the second question you may want to ask? There's not a lot here, if I remember correctly, but there's some good ones.
I don't know. Okay. Any persistent conditions?
Yeah, I don't believe there'd be any.
Okay.
Kind of looking for Ralph to confirm, but yeah.
Yeah, no, there was something I was thinking of beforehand, but I ended up not proposing it to you, so.
Gotcha. Yeah, having eaten and consumed souls, not suffering from paradox, hasn't had the soul tampered with, not a soul stone.
I don't know
Or
if
has
you
activated one.
would know to ask about a soul stone.
That's fair.
And I don't know that she wants to know if he's consumed a soul recently.
That's also fair. Yeah. But yeah, definitely cast that spell, and again, Cloak has that, tightening feel. Gisela goes, seriously? Stop it!
I have a suggestion, like a narrative thing that might be helpful here.
Fire away. Well, helpful how?
Yeah, so just if there's something that Craig would want to find out about someone. So I don't know if this is a way that soul marks would work, but one way I've thought of it is that you can evaluate the influence of your experience with awakened magic on your own soul, right? Because considering that a legacy is imprinted there. I imagine that Cloak's soul is more vibrant and strengthened now, and it also bears the scars from barbed chains that are constantly wrapping and squeezing it.
Kind of give that Mastigos vibe.
Yeah. I mean, it's up to you if you want that to be a part. That was just something I've thought about before with the spell. So
Yeah. I think that's a cool thing, especially like, if nothing else, how Theo sees it, but knowing that you're of a different path.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, it's up to Craig if he wants it.
So Theo's quiet for a moment, just kind of looking at you, and then I felt things from time to time, but we have a lot more in common than I first thought.
We have as much in common as I thought.
You worked your will on me yesterday,
I did.
and I'm one of the newcomers, right?
Yes.
There's more of us here.
I know.
I know how I'm still learning, but I know some of the things that I can do, and they can be pretty scary. I assume that's the same with you.
Well, fear is just a limitation.
So you have
Says
been
the
very
best
direct-
egos.
So you've been very direct with me, so let me be direct with you. Are you an enemy? or a potential ally.
These are the things that are important to me in life. The protection of those I care about. Opportunities to help others transcend their limits. And the safety of my mind and soul, according to the dictates of my Met-Tet. I could be a friend to you. I could also be an incredibly frightening and dangerous enemy. But I don't suspect that you want the latter. I think that you want and need the former. And I want and need the former from you.
It seems we are of like mind in that way. Now she's seen at least 2 other
signature nimbus.
Signature, not signature, but yeah, signature nimbuses, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So she'll say there's at least 2 others like us here.
Oh. Who other than Isabel?
I'm going to roll wits and composure
to not just be shocked.
So that just sort of washes over Theo, but it definitely, like, there's a hasty scribbling in the mental notebook. Gisela.
Gossipy bitches.
Yeah.
Would this be an appropriate time for me to say that Isabel worked her way over to talk to Mortimer and them before they were leaving?
Sure, yeah. Especially considering you're on the horse, like dismounting off of,
or
so
just sort of making our way through.
We'll hold that there for a second. Is there any last little, like, because I imagine you guys probably talk a little bit more, but is there any, like, prominent, like, comments that you guys want to trade between each other?
Yeah,
just
I have
a
something
little bit of history. Like, Theo, it's been some time since I came into this, and I've never met another one like me. But suddenly here in Purgatory Bluff, there's 4 of us.
At least.
Haven't you questioned how 30 Maroons could suddenly appear in Colorado? I brought them here.
I didn't want to pry.
She did ask, though, yesterday.
Yeah. That's a good point. Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Go ahead.
The truth is, Vodou brought them here. And I mean that with a capital V. Magic, whatever word you use in your tradition, to refer to the ability to work your will on that which is, to make it that which you want it to be.
Allow me to offer you an invitation.
Perfect. Right there. And we fade because we all know where that conversation is going.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And so, yeah, Chris, I think as, Isabel perhaps is dismounting off of the horse and like letting it have a break or something. And it's where they're having the horses. So you watch as Gisela is having his conversation with Jules and Rilla, and Mortimer's over here getting his horse ready and packed up. I think that's when you kind of arrive.
I was just saying, I ride up with the intention of just like tying up the horse and getting him some water and stuff like that in a second. And we'll say it's dramatically appropriate seconds after Gisela has finished blurting this out and whatnot.
Right.
And I am trying to manipulate Jules with my feminine wiles.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm here for it.
And it's very much along the lines of, well, I do hope you'll be back soon. I had so many more stories to tell at the tavern and whatnot. More music to play and stories to be told and all that kind of things. And
you were specifically manipulating with what goal in mind?
To fluster him so that I can find out what they're doing.
Okay, so again, digging into some of that information.
Yeah.
Sure. So manipulation plus empathy is kind of our default, but if you're kind of leaning into the, as you said, feminine wiles, we could swing a different skill or...
I figured socialize or subterfuge.
I think subterfuge probably... Well, yeah, either one.
Yeah,
whichever you prefer.
sneaky.
The same role for me.
Okay, yeah, cool. So,
It's kind of like representing that there's like multiple things happening and what the pressure point is.
Sure.
Of what you think the crucial part of that is. So, yeah, subterfuge is good.
Okay.
So manipulation, subterfuge, any bonus penalties.
And this is going to be his resolve, which is only 2.
Okay, so -2.
Uh-huh.
Which is actually -1 because I got that fast token.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
3 successes. Oh, you spent willpower?
No.
What's the...
I don't know. I clicked a sheet roll and then typed it in.
Oh, gotcha.
-1.
-1, yeah.
I fucked it up.
Wow, 6, 5, 1,
These
6,
guys
2.
are so good at their secrets.
They are.
The 10 is your second roll the first time.
But I appreciate you playing fair. Are you taking that as a dramatic failure or just gonna like whoops? And I should know, and I hope it's been obvious, I'm trying to be a little bit better with the whole failing forward kind of stuff. So yeah.
No, I don't think I'll take it here.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you definitely don't get any additional information, but
Right.
he does kind of let drop that. Oh yeah, no, you'll see us tonight. We'll be back down. I think after our preparations are done, and Mortimer gets the good British humph. Hey, what? No, shush. And but yeah, Jules is like, oh yeah, no, more stories would be good, especially the ones where you were singing, and not just telling me what happened in town.
Mm-hmm. Very well.
Cool.
And then they
I should have given
promptly leave right after that.
Unless you guys are chatting a little bit more, but yeah, their goal is to get up there while the sun is still up.
Cool. And then I think at that point, when she gets to hop off the horse, she notices that Gisela is standing there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because probably saw her. Yeah, Gisela. At the moment, it's Gisela and her mother chatting about Catherine's invitation. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm.
Bower ladies.
Isabel?
How are you enjoying the festivities today?
It's nice to have a day off.
Agreed. For now.
Yeah. That's for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Mrs. Bower is well, having everybody here means keeping track of the children is so much easier because there's just so many other eyes on them.
Yeah, I think they were part of my crowd earlier.
I did see that. Yes. Thank you for that, by the way. They will probably be humming and whistling that for all week. Baby shark.
Baby shark.
Perhaps it will help them learn their Spanish.
That's true.
A good proper language to know here in town.
It is. I'm working. I think we are all working to learn one another's languages.
Mm-hmm. Not German though.
No.
Not just for one family. Nope. Hell no. I saw you conversing with the newcomers as I rode up.
And immediately Mother is like big heavy eye rolls, and it's the young ladies are enamored in her mind either newcomers or that Jules, and so she's like, okay, well, and she's like, I don't care, I got other shit to do. Mostly that way you guys can have a nice quiet conversation.
I see you're interested in them.
I'm interested in what they're doing. So, I've been invited to go see. I don't know if Mortimer knows I have been invited. So, something with telescopes.
Very well. I've been trying to, spent most of last night trying to figure out what they were up to and how it might be profitable for me. So, I will say this.
Mm-hmm.
If and when you discover what they're doing, why they're here, etc., etc., come have a drink on the house.
Sure.
This is mostly a little meta reminder, but do you happen to mention that Jules was particularly intrigued with the Bauer family because they'd been here longer?
Yeah, I think, because, I mean, we don't say every word in a conversation.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
In this game, usually. So, but yeah, mentioning, it's kind of us putting together, like, telescopes, and they mentioned something about being interested in those that have known the town for longer.
Okay.
Anyways.
I'll see what I can find out. Jules doesn't appear to know a whole lot.
No, the boy is incredibly handsome and perhaps not the brightest of the three. So, perhaps use that to your advantage.
Yeah.
And then, saunter away.
Business ladies getting paid. Cool.
Yeah. It's finding one of Enright's guys and be like, hey, I'll buy you a drink if you take my horse back up with you tonight.
Sure. Yeah, and I'm sure, especially the stable hand side of his crew, you're probably
with
fairly...
the coach and all that. Yeah, I don't feel like it's a big favor to ask.
No,
at all,
and I mean, again, it's the flirty barmaid. And all I have to do is walk her awesome horse up back to where I was already going. Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm. Oh no.
Right. Cool. So then, with Theo and Cloak having kind of arranged for a meeting tonight, Gisela saying, "Oh yeah, I guess I'll go see about having tea tonight." Yes.
Can I just add one more thing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I would let Cloak know that I've invited Gisela for tea, and he should come too, and maybe try and find a way to bring Isabel.
Sounds good. And Cloak would say, that is a good idea. And then perhaps at some point, we can all four go to the mine together.
And this got creepy.
Yes, come to the mines.
Everyone's mind.
Now, that said, in my head, and just to
Isabel's
clarify,
working very hard for the rest of the day, so good luck with that.
Right, because that's what I was going to bring up, because the tavern itself will probably not get busy until the evening, because that's when people will start to actually come inside, and it will no longer be Warner having drinks coming out of these barrels, and and in my mind, tea was probably going to be closer towards supper time.
Yeah,
I was thinking mid-afternoonish. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Right. So it might be something that Isabel, because I was thinking about that too. It's Isabel ain't going to give up all that coin. No, she gotta get paid. But a little bit earlier in the afternoon might actually be doable. Mm-hmm. Looking at Chris.
Yeah, I think it's something that someone would have to convince her of.
Sure. Okay.
For sure.
Well,
Theo's probably
it's a good
best
thing
for that.
It's a good thing she has that leverage condition that Cloak put on her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you want to fucking sledgehammer your way over to Isabel right now, that's fine.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it's appropriate, if you're cool with that out of character, Cloak would definitely like, you know how he is, right? Like, we need Isabel to come. He'll just go ask Isabel.
Am I going to resist a thing that puts the party together? No.
Yeah.
You could, but I don't think you're that asshole.
Yeah.
Do you want to sit in the corner and brood some and talk about how the party isn't worth your time?
They had to prove themselves to me. Right. My last party betrayed my family.
Well, proof has something to do with it.
Right.
That's funny. That makes sense.
That was a spirits joke.
Yeah, I appreciated the bar joke.
Not a magic spirits joke.
Yeah, you do it. I'm here for the puns.
Good. Yes, definitely 11 C's.
If that's okay with you, then let's
I
do
am
that.
Taking care of my horse. Do you want to walk up?
Absolutely. Cloak loves horses, so
like kind of tied up to the side of the tavern around the corner.
Yeah. Yeah, so after conversing with Theo, he says, I'll make sure that Isabel comes. And he'll walk over to find Isabel.
Sure.
And he'll say, Senora.
Good afternoon.
And he'll reach out and ask, may I? And he's trying to reach towards her horse.
Sure.
All right. And
I turn on my mage light.
Go ahead. So, he's gently, completely mundanely trying to ingratiate himself to the horse. He pulls out a little treat and a brush. Like a little piece of carrot or something like that, or apple.
Mm-hmm.
And offers it to the horse. And then gently brushes the horse as he says to Isabel, Theodosia has invited me to come to tea with her and Gisela.
Which could not be weirder, like, social circles here.
I would like you to come.
Why?
Because we four have a lot in common.
I don't think we have that much in common.
Okay,
especially not the four of us. There's literally a gap in that Venn diagram.
Then he says, I know, he puts emphasis on the word know. I know that you see more than there is. I know that you want to understand it. And I know that, like the three of us, you are still confused by what it means for you and your future.
You hear a sound.
Clicking.
Of a metallic click in the saddlebag.
That's okay. He'll take a bullet if he has to. He says,
this is why they're here. This is between sessions plotting.
Yeah. He says, and if you want to initiate combat, go ahead and spin that whip.
No, I'm not.
No, I know you're joking. I just because the air of menace and all that, right?
That's true. Yeah.
He says, Cloak walks around as though he's prepared for anybody to hurt him, and he doesn't care, right? And he knows that they're also going to have to invest. But anyway, so that's not what's happening. So what Cloak says then is, he says, we can all work our will. Considering that you are suspicious of me, I will be forthcoming with the truth of myself, perhaps to demonstrate that I mean you no harm. The truth is that I and the Maroons in my care did not come here randomly. Well, that's the wrong way to put it. They came here through Voodoo. They came here through the force of my will. We came here through magic.
You're saying a lot of crazy stuff, man.
I think this might be where we get into the die roll.
Then he'll say, hold on real quick. Then considering she's like, right? Let me find my notes. Let me find my notes from the last session.
Oh,
go ahead.
You would know my virtue is faithful.
Yeah. Oh,
faithful.
That's, right.
That's a good one.
I don't know if that's what we originally came up with today, but it's pretty previously, but it's what I got. What I'm going forth with.
Yep.
Here we go. I got it written down right here. So,
and
virtue is faithful.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know that Isabel. Like, I will voluntarily fail that roll, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you have to like pressure it, but it's like she like you come around the backside of the horse, and she like falls like back against the window, back against the wall, like hiding behind the horse. So that then you come around and you see that she's got the gun for sure.
Okay,
she's
cool.
Like, look, you're being, and like totally like, especially with how good Cloak is at this sort of thing, like, you have struck a core resonance with her, and you already know like that she's got an obsession, right?
So. Yeah. So great. So then he says, when I touched you yesterday, I learned that you desire to find others like you. We are the others like you. I learned that you desire to form what you call a cabal. We could be that cabal. And I know that you are obsessed with establishing yourself as part of a spirit court.
Of course, translated more into what Isabel would think, but yes.
Yeah, okay, cool. Sorry, I thought that was how it was written down. Fair enough.
It's what it's
mainly out of
character.
I misunderstood.
Right, so
I misunderstood. It's no big deal.
You're good.
Cool. All right.
Okay, just don't touch me.
Sorry, what I didn't hear you.
I said don't touch me.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
If you're going to do something like that again, you obviously invaded my mind in some way to know what I want.
I can see how you would think of it that way. I will not touch you without your consent, but I did not invade your mind, just so that you know. Your thoughts, your preferences, your aspirations are chains. They are things that attach you to the material and the immaterial, and they are plain to see as the color of your hair and the texture of your skin. I am just a person who can see those things. And so all I had to do was open my eyes. But as you request, I will not look again without your permission.
We're going to have a cabal that has a conversation about consent.
Yeah.
All right. What are we allowed to do and what are we not allowed to do without asking permission? Cool. And this is on.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
So she like releases the hammer on the gun.
Cool.
All right. I got no idea what the hell you're talking about with chains or any of that. That's not what this is. I'll come and I'll talk to the others.
Thank you.
And with that,
he'll as he's leaving, he'll like idly kind of like not nuzzle the horse, but like motion his hand to receive like, a little sniff or lick or something like that. And then walk away.
Nice. And this is more a question for Chris. Do you feel like that's clearing the leverage condition, or do you want to? Okay, cool.
This is very much something she would not do, but has been pressured / convinced to do. So
okay, I'm good with that.
I want to put a spiritual condition onto Cloak.
You mean a spiritual condition?
One of the manifestation sort of that flowchart thing, right?
And make them open.
So opener of the way can go from resonant to open. So
Spirit's gonna try and jump in me.
I don't know that I want to because specifically I think I have not put together the whole spirits taking over people just yet. That this is the same thing from my past. But in a very sort of Isabel capricious kind of thing, I want to make a bunch of all the good feeling spirits hang around him.
Sure.
Because he's a fucking weird sledgehammer hard ass of bad emotions.
It's funny how you see it that way.
I'm gonna have you haunted by fucking joy spirits for the rest of the day.
All right.
I don't know if I'm resonant to them. So
right, and that's the one trick is because Cloak. Well, resonant conditions are things that hang on people or places, and so the conditions that I can see hanging on Cloak are going to be forthrightness or truth. Though truth might be more Goche. But aggression.
He's been socializing today.
Yeah.
Made a point of it.
Yeah. The problem is I don't quite know that socialize would be the thing because spirits are going to be more on emotion and not necessarily action. So I'm trying to figure out what would be the right one. And the other thing is resonant conditions are not things it came up in a Discord. Oh, you can watch somebody's resonance and see if they lie because they'll suddenly have liar resonance. It's no. Resonance is something that's fast. More on them. That said, I thought it might be a 3-dot one.
Because I know you can create conditions with 2 dots in the sort of
creative thaumaturgy
rules. So if I can shift resonant to open, then could I create resonance?
Right. That's what
with
I
2
am
dots.
trying to see.
Can I throw a little something in here?
Yeah.
So,
my read of Cloak is that he's sort of like a wolf in new territory, sort of marking his territory, meeting the neighbors, establishing boundaries and that kind of stuff. So maybe there's an avenue to go through there.
Yeah, more animal vibe.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Also, in creative thaumaturgy, supernatural condition, including manifestation conditions, require weaving.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's 3 dots, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or 4.
4 is weaving.
3. Yeah.
Oh,
weaving.
yeah, that is 3.
3 is weaving.
What's the
4 is patterning.
Patterning. Okay.
4 is a songbird special.
Yeah. Okay, then let's how about this? My horse has a spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Want to well, I'm gonna basically never mind. You know what? Scratch the whole thing.
Put it in the back burner. We'll come back to this maybe. Yeah.
Fuck with Cloak
you can
later.
Give him gremlins.
Later. Sounds good.
New aspiration. Yeah. But yeah, gremlins to mess their day up.
Yeah. No, especially because he didn't quite apologize for what he did, but he has said he won't do it in the future. So we're going to take him at his word for that now.
Oh, yeah.
And go hear out whatever this fucking...
Won't do it without your permission.
Tea is. Right.
And this is where I'm like, could have used freaking high speech at any point. And just be like, do you understand me? But
that's a good point.
Well, you're just speaking nonsense to anyone who doesn't.
Right, but that's one of those
brain.
like, do you understand what I'm saying? Yes.
Yeah. I was thinking that would be happening once we're all together.
Right.
We're like, well, let's see this and see how we. Do you see this?
I mean, how
Do you
much
hear
do
me?
we use high speech?
How much do you use? But remember that it's...
Because we don't have the yantra thing for it, so we're not like using a lot.
The yantra represents knowing how to use this language
Right.
as a yantra. Otherwise,
Right.
you understand, like in my head, it's speaking the symbols that you see, and truth, hate, fate, fire.
But in a practical way, if we've never met another mage, we likely haven't heard it spoken since our awakening.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So knowing a language is different than having chance to use it.
Mhm.
Like I don't, especially Isabel. I don't think she's just walking around talking to herself in high speech. Right. Literally any point in her life. Right.
Right. No, and for me,
idea.
it's
so. That's what I was just trying to establish. It's not like a reflexive thing that I would just be like, oh, do you understand me?
Oh, yeah, you're inclined.
In character. Like
Right.
totally a different mage could totally do that and it would make sense.
Yeah.
But I don't think Isabel would.
DM bloop, put that mark down there. Yeah. When the Silver Ladder or Brimos rolls up with fluent high speech.
Right.
Hello, friends, and you're going, whoa, slow it down, buddy. What is that?
We don't do that.
I
around
understand
here.
what you're saying, but how do I understand that? Because we just sort of acquired the knowledge. We don't.
You just like
know
eventually
that
will
it's a
just
language.
know it.
Yeah.
It's like, what the
Oh, it's good stuff. But yeah, that puts us in a pretty good spot. And so next episode title,
Have tea next
Tea
time.
Party. This one, who knows? Thank you all for joining us. It is always a blast. Come by Discord, eatinto.space to come hang out with us. Throw some episode titles at me, which is always useful and helpful and a great way to troll the YouTubers. YouTube guys, sorry.
Yeah.
You got to be over here on the Twitch side to get a heads up, or watch on VOD. You don't have to watch live. But yeah. If you want to support us monetarily, that is patreon.com/Occultists Anonymous, which is really boring. Try staylucky.club. There's other ways you can support us. There's also like the merch store, which I don't actually have any. Where did my cup go? Ever since I got my new Darth Vader little thermos thing, and now it's like the Rookery mug is. I need to upgrade. I need a bigger one. And you also can now access our Conca. Oh yes, Brain Spider pin. Beautiful, wonderful. Thank you. But yes, our Conca is now publicly open. So if you want to come check out some of the stuff that we're talking about, see characters, see Theo's backstory and why Valosia doesn't speak. Some of those kind of inside things that we may get to in the well, we probably will get to in the future, and stuff like that. It's there. Some of the characters, say like Mortimer, Rilla, and Jules, are locked away, hidden, private, because I don't want you to know. But once we get in a little bit farther, I'll like open them up so you can see the little notes I've saved for them. And any of our patrons who are in the Sleepwalker tier have access to actually leave little notes, which would be useful if you want to remind me about a thing I forgot about. Or just want to talk about how Mortimer is a, jerk, or Warner Enright, whatever. Ike is a jerk. Everybody can go put that note down. It'll be fine. Ike is definitely a jerk. Though, actually, I meant to actually have him talk to people today, and I forgot. Right. Oh, well. But yes.
Oh, he's going to talk to somebody soon.
Yep.
Whether he likes it or not.
So, yeah, come by, hang out, check that out. And I guess do a quick little shout out for Gehenna Gaming. Next week, Craig and I are going to do a one shot for their Saturday night one shots. So don't have the exact story planned out yet, but Craig is going to be a badass mage. And the other three who've never played before are going to be their Craig's apprentices. So it's going to be so fun. Because I'll be honest, when you have Craig here and he's got the beard, you got to lean into,
the Merlin vibe,
yeah.
Fucking wizard ass.
So that'll be fun. And then also, if you yourself want to play some Chronicles of Darkness, or want to see some more stuff, or actually run some games and get paid for it, Onyx Path Con is coming mid-June. It's like 21st or something like that. And so there will be panels. There will be a bunch of Chronicles of Darkness games right here on this channel all week. We are the official, unofficial Chronicles of Darkness channel for Onyx Path Con. So there will be our game, obviously, on Friday. I think there's an Arthurian Legends Changeling one. And yeah,
speaking of Merlin,
yeah. So there's 3, I think, and I might be putting together a mummy one where everybody's playing a bunch of cultists, and instead of actually getting the mummy out, everybody will just be a bunch of cultists doing the mummy's favors. I need to read the book a little bit more to make sure I know what I'm doing. But
Mummy dearest.
Check out those open rights. It's going to be a good time.
Open and closed rights. And yeah, I may have to drag Ash in because any chance to high five Ash over mummy stuff is just the best.
Ash is playing a character called Friendon Brazier.
Oh, yeah, I'm on board. So, right. And am I missing anything else? I think that's it. I think we can say goodbye to all these lovely people.
Goodbye.
Okay.
Goodbye, folks.
We don't have to
see you next
Good night,
time.
y'all.
Bye, everybody.
We're working on it.